Enhance content with related data. After logging into Bluemix, on the Apps page, click Catalog in the upper right-hand corner. On the Catalog page, click Data and Analytics under Services. On the Data and Analytics page, click CloudAnt NoSQL DB. On the CloudAnt page, click Create. Finally, on the CloudAnt NoSQL instance page, click Launch. On the first CloudAnt page that you see, click Databases. You are brought to the CloudAnt DB console page. You'll notice that you have no databases to begin with. We begin by clicking the Create Database in the upper right-hand corner. Enter a name for the new database, such as Weather Watchers, and click Create. Your database is successfully created. Now click the plus icon alongside all documents to insert the first document. Enter a JSON document that represents a typical entry into the Weather Watchers database. Then click Create Document. You see a confirmation that your new document has been created successfully. Now click API in the upper right-hand corner. This shows you the API that you can use as a REST call to insert documents into the Weather Watchers database. Now click the Docs box at the very top. This will show you the entire document that you have inserted. Click Permissions in the navigation bar for the database. This shows you access permissions for users to your new database. Click Generate API Key. The new API key and the corresponding secret are generated automatically for you. It is very important that you make a copy of both the key and the password. Once you have done this, click the writer boxes for the new key so that your API developers can get access to this database. Your changes are saved. Return to the tab containing the CloudAnt launch page and click the Bluemix menu icon in the upper left-hand corner. In the Bluemix menu drop-down, click Dashboard. On the Bluemix list of available services, click API Connect. Navigate back to your API Connect Bluemix Drafts console, where you see the one API you may have already created using the tutorial, the Climbing Weather APIs. Click Add and then select New Open API from Scratch. Enter a name for the new API, such as Weather Watchers, and then click Create API. On the page that shows you the beginning of the configuration of this new API, click Paths. Set the get path to /reports. Then click Add Operation and select Post. Click Add Parameter and then click Add New Parameter. Type Report in the name field. Set the location to the body. Add a description if you'd like, and double check that it is an object. Click Assemble. An invoke is present by default. Click the invoke to bring up the configuration panel. Under Title, put Weather Watcher Reports, and then in the URL, paste the URL of the API for your CloudAnt database into the field, followed by _ all underscore docs question mark include docs equals true. Then under username, enter the username of the API key that you saved before, and under password, enter the password that you saved before for the API key. Click Save in the upper right-hand corner, and then click the test arrow. Use the existing Sandbox catalog, and rather than choose an existing product, enter a new name for a new product, such as Weather Watchers, and then click Create and Publish. Scroll down and click Next. Select the Get Reports operation, scroll down, and click Invoke. The invocation to retrieve the Weather Watchers record from the CloudEnt database should succeed. Scroll down to see the full document that you have retrieved from the CloudEnt database. Drag the Operation Switch action onto the assembly line before the Weather Watchers invoke. Select Get Reports for case 0. Add an additional case. Select Post Reports for case 1. And then grab the Weather Watchers invoke onto the case 0 line. Drag a set variable into the first position of the case 1 line. Set the name of the variable to location and the initial value as lat equals x ampersand lon equals y. You will write scripts to modify these values in the next step. Close the setvar configuration pane and then drag a gateway script action onto the case 1 line after the setvar. Enter the gateway script code shown here to set the values for the location variable to those values that are contained in the Weather Watchers report that has been submitted through this API. Drag an invoke onto the assembly line after the gateway script. Configure this new invoke with a title Get Forecast and use the URL that is shown in the callout in front of you. Notice the query string employs the location variable we previously created. Click Save, click Test, and then click Republish Product. Select the Post Reports operation, then scroll down and enter a Weather Watchers report. You can find an example of a Weather Watchers report in the gateway script code that you just created recently. Clicking Invoke obtains a weather forecast for the particular location that you have indicated in the report text. This is the information that we will use to enhance the weather report filed by the Weather Watcher. Drag another gateway script action onto the assembly line and then enter the code that you see here. Before continuing, you may want to save, republish, and test. Once again, an example Weather Watchers report is right there in the gateway script code. Drag a final invoke onto the assembly line after the gateway script. Name this new invoke Create Weather Watchers Record. Use the URL of the database API that you got from CloudEnt. Enter the username and password you got from the CloudEnt API key. Make sure you scroll down and change the operation to a post. Once again, now save this configuration, close the Weather Watchers configuration panel, and click the Test button. republish the product, supply an example Weather Watchers record once again in the input to this test, and click Invoke. You should see the result coming back from CloudEnt that your invoke was successful. Run the test again, except this time select the Get Reports operation and see that both reports, the one you created through the CloudEnt database interface and the one you just created through your new API, are both present in the CloudEnt database.